All right, guys, we're heading into Casey Jones's book here for our start of Shellonomics. These are the IDW collections, book 11 and 12. Dude, are they we're gonna find out, can they continue the hype? Can they continue the drama? And also, can they continue killing people that still gives us a shock? You're gonna find out soon, guys, because they got me once again reading these books. As always, we're joined by our good friend Christian, TMNT Talk, one of the longest Ninja Turtle running podcast. Dude, I know you're hyped for this, so feel free to get right into it with also trying to explain to us how in the book it says Universe 16, Universe 17, and then they combine 16 and 17 and make another issue.
Yeah, Universe. You know, with Universe, there are always two stories, a main story, a backup story. But we're getting there, no problemo. So let's start with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe number 16. We learn more about the Triceraton past in this. It's a focus about the Triceratons, and we learn more about how the Triceratons were actually soldiers for the Utroms. And the story here in these two books is about Zog and Zom, and Zog male and Zom female Triceraton, and how Zog doesn't want the Triceratons to be just tools for the Utroms anymore, which, as we know already, will later lead to the rebellion. So, meanwhile, Zom finds out more about what the Utroms are up to, and for this, she actually plans to kill Krang. Remember, this is a flashback. This all takes place in the past. So Zog actually stops Zom from assassinating Krang, but she reveals the truth that she found out. That a bunch of Triceratons, including Zog's parents, were killed because they became unruly. Then the Utroms started cloning the Triceratons to keep them better in check. So Zog and Zom, they split up. Zog distracts the Utroms while Zom can escape with the other Triceratons to hopefully find a place for their own in the future. But Zog gets lost and Zom hopes to find him again someday. And that's pretty much where we are right now with the Triceratons. So, and to answer your question from earlier, yes, we're getting back to issue 16 and 17 of TMNT Universe, because in these two books, there's also a backup story called Triceratops. And these are just funny little stories about little Triceratons who are in training, and how Zog meets with them and how he's reminded of his own training. Just think of little Triceratons, and they're just cute and cuddly. Well, they're still dinosaur man, but they're cute. They're little cute. And we also see like two little Triceratons sneaking onto Zom's ship as she takes off, but they fall out of it and go back to their friends. So not that much about it here. It's just funny cute little stories about like little Triceratons, how they are trained, how they grow up, and just cute little story. But the main feature here is really the main story about the past of the Triceratons, so that we get to know them a little bit more, and that's going to be important pretty soon in this story here. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if anybody is catching this on Spotify and YouTube, and you are somebody who makes custom shirts, Christian and I have seen a lot of cool custom Ninja Turtle shirts. Christian, I got one for you. Here's our sales pitch. Hopefully somebody takes it and rolls with it. Triceratons for the herd. You're going to see that slogan a lot. I would buy that shirt, wouldn't you?
Oh, in a heartbeat. Hey, you know the meme. Shut up and take my money. It's just perfect. I'm there for it.
Yeah, I'm sold. And again, for a guy who grew up with the 87 show and was not really into the comics as a kid, it's nice seeing armies with competence here. What's your take on the Triceratons? You've got the Foot Clan, who are ruthless. You've got the Utroms, who are peaceful. And then you got the Triceratons, who are like kind of like middle ground, right? Because it's like they want peace, but they know how to fight, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, IDW really has an interesting take on the Triceratons here, because the original started, if you remember, in the Mirage comics, and also mainly in the 2003 show that adapted the Mirage comics, that they were this warlike race who took over other planets and so on and so forth. And here in IDW, they are doing the same thing, but they're doing it for the Utroms. They are pretty much just soldiers. They get thrown into wars for others. And it's not like, hey, we love to fight. It's like, hey, it's our job. We have to do it. And yeah, a little foreshadowing here when it's this is like an interesting take on the Triceratons that's going to be very interesting and very important in the next few issues that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can get right into it with Bishop saying, "You some bitch."
Yeah, so get back into the regular TMNT series with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 76. So we see that the turtles, they come back to the lair and they find out that Zom and the Triceratons have arrived in New York. Remember, last time they were in Dimension X, and now the turtles come back and wait a minute, the Triceratons are here? But the funny thing, or the interesting thing I gotta say, is that the Triceratons is like, hey, we're gonna invade Earth. No, they came to Earth to live there because the neutrinos told them, hey, you can go to Earth because that's pretty much your home planet, and you can live there in peace. But, well, the people of Earth didn't know about this, so suddenly there are dinosaur people in the streets, and they get confronted by none other than Bishop. And the Bishop and the EPF, they are the ones who start a fight with the Triceratons with the help of still mind-controlled Slash. And then Splinter also comes in with the Foot Clan and he joins the fight. And that's, once again, the cliffhanger ending of that issue.
Gets crazy and crazy. And in this next issue, I know these are real comics, but for me, I gotta say, I think the writers like Kevin Eastman and them were just, you know, Marvel had that What If show on Disney Plus. To me, there's a lot of what if in this issue and this series, which I like. Again, what if the Turtles and Baxter work together? And you're finding that out again in this next issue here.
Yeah, we see that, well, the Triceratons, as I said, they get attacked and they retreat for now, but the Foot Clan actually take Bishop as hostage. So the Splinter wants an alliance with the EPF to fight the Triceratons together. The Turtles, then, they are able to find Zom and the Triceratons. So Zom is the leader, the de facto leader of them. And together they see that the invasion force of the Triceratons start teleporting in since, well, the peaceful solution was not possible. So the Triceratons are like, now, okay, if you want to fight, we can fight. And that's where it gets really bad.
Oof, you said it, man. So again, were you reading these when they were coming out too, Christian? I think you said that already, but just as a reminder for me, you were reading these every month when they were coming out?
Yep, pretty much. I was up to date back then, yeah.
Oh, wow, dude. Good time for you to be a part. Like I say, for me, I just remember when you said, it's like, this is a lot of emotions for you to go with here, Mike, just because you're reading these so fast, and it's going to continue to be a roller coaster here. Feel free to push us into the next one.
Next one, we go back to Universe because it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe number 18, a story that I really find so entertaining because this story takes place in the middle of the Triceraton invasion. And the Turtles, they hide in a building, which they don't know, but it turns out that it's an evacuation center with lots of people in it. So the Turtles, they are stuck inside this building. It's like, okay, we cannot just go out because there are so many people there. Without being seen. And some kids, they inside this building, they see the turtles and they like, oh, we want to try it. We're going to catch these monsters. And by the way, Kara Lewis, the detective that we met before sometimes, is also there. And so the turtles, they have like, we get this montage where turtles try to sneak out to find a way out, but they always like, oh no, we're gonna get captured, we have to hide. And then Mikey is the one who comes up with a plan. They're like, okay, these kids, they think we're monsters. Let's give them monsters. So the turtles, they dress up in like Halloween costumes, self-made Halloween costumes, and they like to scare the kids away to escape out of the building. So when the kids then tell about, oh no, we got attacked by a evil robot or something, they're like, okay, yeah, kids, sure. But the turtles, they're able to sneak out, and hey, Mikey had the plan. He's the man here.
As always, and he even gave great advice too. You know, Hulk Hogan always said, say your prayers and take your vitamins. Here it was, stay in school and eat your pizza. Good advice to live by, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was pretty fun. I had fun with that one. And then there's a quick little pit stop, too, I believe, right before we get into the big episode with some phenomenal Mondo Gecko artwork, by the way, in this one.
Yeah, this is like the backup story to TMT Universe number 18, called Mutagen Maintenance. And it's just a short story to see what the Mutanimals are currently up to. And Mutagen Man is still more or less like a head in a glass jar. And how we see how the others interact with him, and they try to cheer him up with some food and TV shows. And Hop is also like, I'm going to promise that Bishop will pay for what he did. And like, it's just a nice little fussy story where, like, okay, these characters, the mutanimals, they are like these gray characters. They're not evil, they're not really good, they're in the middle here, but they care about each other, and they're like, hey, dude, everything's gonna be fine in the end. And just a nice little briefer here in the middle of this craziness.
Absolutely. Just a quick little, that's all. And I really do like the arc in there. And now coming up next, we get a face we haven't seen since the Toon universe, doing some news reporting for us. How about that? Were you shocked seeing him in this one?
Oh, I loved it. In TMNT number 78, we see that none other than Bern Thompson covers the situation in New York on TV. And yeah, it's pretty much craziness. As I said, Triceratons attacking and Triceratons invading. And Casey and the Purple Dragons, because Casey now is the de facto leader of the Purple Dragons, he attacks the Triceratons, and even Han arrives and helps them. It's like, hey, kid, gonna work together to fight these giant dinosaurs. And Turtles, meanwhile, they try to convince Splinter that the Triceratons are not evil. But Splinter, as the leader of Foot Clan, is at war and fights them in an alliance with Bishop. And yeah, it doesn't stop there. It gets crazier.
Dude, yeah, a quick little breath here. I did not see Casey and his father ever being on the same page, but when the chips are down and there's evil taking over, I guess push comes to shove. They're on the same side. I had chills seeing that spot. I didn't see that coming. And, dude, this Splinter, I mean, you know, on Shellonomics here, we've done the top 5 for all Turtles. And eventually we're going to do Splinter, Casey, April Jones, and Shredder. But this IDW Splinter, he might win because he is the most controversial Splinter I've seen. The Turtles and him just cannot agree on anything, and it's going to get deeper. But yeah, feel free to bring us into whatever, like as you like to say, Christian, on your show, what the shell's going on here?
Yeah, before we get back into the war with the Triceratons, we have once again a little backup story from TMT Universe number 21, which is called How Woody Spent His Triceraton Invasion, where we just see how Woody, the pizza delivery guy and best buddy of Michelangelo, has to deliver pizzas during the invasion, and he barely escapes explosions and battles between Triceratons and the EPF as he delivers pizza to April's parents at the second time around shop. Just a funny little thing where, like, oh my god, I don't get paid enough for this, and I totally get him. So yeah, back to the main story. TMNT number 79. The war between Triceratons and the EPF is crazy, and Splinter doesn't want the Turtles involved in this fight, but they have a talk with Jennica. Like, because Jennica is like the right-hand woman of Splinter, and she helps them sneak out of Foot headquarters because Splinter's like, hey, you're gonna stay here, and Jennica's like, there's a back door here. Meanwhile, Baxter is helping with the evacuation of New York, but the O'Neills, April's parents, give him an idea to rather get the Triceratons out of New York instead of the people. So the Foot, meanwhile, finds Zom and her team, and they get ready to kill her to stop this. But then the Turtles arrive like, nope, we're gonna stop you, which leads straight into TMNT number 80, where the Turtles help Zom and her gang, and this leads to a conflict with Splinter. So the Turtles fight the Foot, and Splinter confronts Zom, but before he can kill her, Baxter activates his teleporter and beams Zom and the Triceratons out of New York and sends them to Burno Island. Baxter pretty much becomes the hero for saving the city. And in the aftermath of the war, Old Hob finds some new Triceraton weapons, which he wanna use later on. So, well, the Triceraton war is pretty much over. The Triceratons are now on Burno Island. Yeah, everything turns out fine, and there's not gonna be any more problems, right? Right?
Of course not. I mean, you got Jenica there. The turtles are still not seeing eye to eye. I just love where it's like, stand down. No, I'm not standing down. You are. And just, you got to give credit to Raphael a lot in this series, too, because usually he just goes in gun swinging, but it seems like, do you like how Raphael's been in this whole series so far? Because he was the lost brother of all of them, and Leo's actually been able to tell him when he says back off, Raph does back off, which I like.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the classic Leo Raph conflicts. They exist, but you see that Raphael respects Leonardo as the leader, especially now in this time when Splinter is not here for them. And I really love this brotherly dynamic here that we have with them. So yeah, Raphael, as pretty much as all the turtles here, they are really great characterization. Not just simple like he's the angry guy. No, he's got his layers, and that's just what makes him so interesting as the others. So yeah.
All right, and then coming up, dude, we've got that name that we said that starts with a C. I thought that was just a quick little hiccup, but boy, was I wrong.
Oh boy, yeah. Now it's like the follow-up story to the Triceraton War, which is in TMNT Universe number 21 and 22, where the Triceratons they now arrive on Burno Island, but the Utroms who are living there are not that happy to see them. Marielle, the Utrom, who is now pretty much the leader of the Utroms currently, can convince the others that the Triceratons are refugees and they have to help them. To negotiate between the two fractions, Donatello is brought in. So the Utroms, pretty much they want to know the secret of the Triceratons because they were able to grow crops on problematic planets. And the Utroms have that problem pretty much now on Burno Island. And at first the Triceratons don't want to tell them, but then we find out what their secret is. That they pretty much ground up defeated Utroms and used them for fertilizer. And they're like, we're not gonna do that. But Donatello finds out that someone actually wants to assassinate Zom. But it turns out that it is not an Utrom, but two Triceratons who work with the Utroms who hate the Triceratons and they don't want peace between the two fractions. But Donatello is able to stop them, and finally, in the end, a peace treaty between the Utroms and Triceratons is signed, and both can now live on Burno Island in hopefully pretty much peace. They even show off some crops that are finally growing on Burno Island, and that gives hope to everyone. Which, even though it was a trick, as these crops were grown in a lab, and yeah, it was a trick, but hey, it's hope. It's peace for now. But an Utrom called Cleve is finally able to revive none other than Charel, who was like the second in command to Krang, and he gets informed that Krang is now gone. And like, okay, Charel is gonna take care of it now. So okay, yeah, the next problem, I guess.
Yep, just and you can never sleep peacefully in your shells, unfortunately. So we got a couple more quick ones here, I believe, right before we get into some more heavy-duty action.
Yep, absolutely. We got the backup stories to universe number 22 and 23. First off is a story called Dangerous Waters, where we see in the water surrounding Burno Island that Leatherhead is swimming and he saves a baby seal from a squid monster creature, and which he defeats, but then he gets back to New York and he promises himself to get rid of all the abominations like mutants and himself. So yeah, he's still on that trip like mutants, they should not exist, yada yada yada. Then the backup story next is called Nobody Cares, where we see an EPF truck after the Triceraton invasion is transporting corpses of Triceratons, and that truck gets attacked by Sodi, remember the scorpion mutant, but nobody, aka Angel, intervenes and stops her. But, well, she still wonders what Null wants from the Triceraton bodies. And, maybe that's going to be a problem later on. Maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, just two quick little stories to see other characters. And that's pretty much what I like about the universe stories, that we see other characters from the currently really big universe, what they are doing, what they are up to, and give out some. It's just world building, and I love that.
And I like this too because there's been some talks about getting because Stockman was like, hold on a second here. They wanted him, remember, to like, you guys are spending all this money, but he's getting some good publicity coming up in these next few issues here. But before we get into that, we've got some more father and son reunion. And while Christian breaks this one down, there's an unexpected alliance coming too, isn't there?
Yeah, as you said, like in now with TMNT number 81, we see that after the fight with the Triceratons, Casey and Han are pretty much cool with each other for now. And together they team up to fight another street gang. So, okay, that's good. And then Jenica and some other foot join the fight. But using the chaos of the aftermath of this invasion, the Red King appears and hypnotizes dozens of children, like orphan children that happen to be around now after this craziness. And he hypnotizes them with his flute into following him. So the turtles like, okay, what are we gonna do about this? So they teleport to Toad Baron to get more information about the Red King. Like, okay, we have to find out more to get information to how can we fight him? Like he's like an immortal demigod. So what shall we do? Let's ask Toad Baron. And yeah, so the turtles teleport to him to find out more about it.
And that's where I get a little confused because there's some, like, almost like the old American game show. Let's make a deal. You want to go through door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. They all have this face on there. So feel free to break this one down a little more in depth with our mammoth friend.
Yes, in TMNT number 82, so as the turtles arrived at Toad Baron's place, they have a little not very serious fight with the frog servants, and the turtles then ask Toad Baron for help. The Baron shows the turtles 8 doors that will each lead to one of the members of the Pantheon, where the turtles could get help from. So Baxter, meanwhile, has a meeting with Bishop, and under pressure, he tells him that the Triceratons are now on Burno Island, because Bishop's like, there are aliens on Earth, I have to find them, and yeah. So Baxter has to tell him. Meanwhile, the Red King leads the children towards a bridge where they're gonna fall to their death. And yeah, that's pretty much the Red King thing. It just wants to cause chaos and have entertainment for himself. So the turtles then go through a door to meet with none other than Man-Moth. And yeah, he's not very amused to see them. It's like, oh, some other things to hunt. And yeah, so that pretty much leads us to TMNT number 83, where the turtles, they want to talk to Man-Moth, like, hey, we just want to talk, we don't want to fight. But he's like, but I like to hunt. So the turtles are on the run from Man-Moth, but Mikey, once again, he lays a trap, and the turtles are able to topple Man-Moth, and he admits defeat. Like, okay, that was fun. Meanwhile, Jenica, Casey, and Han, they fight Lupo, a gangster, in Splinter's name. On the other side, Man-Moth tells the turtles that he isn't interested in the game anymore. You remember, like the Pantheon, they were playing this game for domination, but he doesn't care about it. But he also will not betray his brother. But during the chat with the Man-Moth, that Leonardo gets an idea. So the turtles then return to New York, just moments before the Red King can send the children off the bridge. Like, okay, we now know something. So where it is going to lead? We're going to find out.
So real quick, can you explain more why they chose the mammoth door? Because I got a little confused when I was reading this. The Toad dude was like, hey, you guys can each have a door to choose, and they chose the mammoth door first. Why'd they go after that one instead of the Rat King again, just to like get me a better explanation?
I'm not 100% sure
Okay.
because I don't have the dialogue right in my head, but I think it's like they were thinking about like, okay, who seems like the the person who can give us the most information. Like,
Yes.
okay, we cannot
Okay.
talk to Kitsune. Nobody trusts Kitsune.
Yep. Jaguar
I
was
mean,
up there,
maybe,
but they didn't really know him too well, right? So eliminate Jaguar from that as
yeah,
well. Okay. Then you
yeah,
have.
and I'm not sure why they did not talk to Akka, because we already know that Akka is
Yeah.
like the most peace-loving of them all. So she could have been some help, but Manmoth is more like a warrior. So it's like, hey, maybe he knows how to fight the Red King. So I think it's more from this perspective, to like, maybe he knows a way to stop the Red King in a fight. I guess that could be the reason here, but as I said, not 100% sure in that part.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because again, for like I say, I'm more of the casual comic reader, and I was like, why would they choose him over the other one? So, thank you for clarifying that. And although we have 2 more issues in this book, I feel this is the main event of this book right here because something again, just I don't know if you ever saw this coming. Maybe because you saw them chatting up a little bit, but I was actually kind of hoping that this would happen when I saw all these rats. I was like, wait a second, there might be someone who could help.
So yeah, in issue number 84, the Turtles, they, as I said, they are back in New York. They want to stop the Red King, and they want to fight the Red King, but he hypnotizes the children and also has his rats with him, and they attack the Turtles. Meanwhile, April and Dexter, they like have their own idea. They work on Mousers and Flybox to stop the rat infestation that's going on after the invasion of the city. So Leonardo is the one who goes through with his plan, because like Andir, okay, we cannot confront the Red King on the physical plane. So he attacks the Red King on the astral plane through meditation. So Mousers and Flybox meanwhile arrive and attack the rats of the Red King. And this surprises the Red King. He did not expect that his rats would get attacked. And this is like the moment where he gets distracted and Leonardo can actually defeat him on the astral plane. The Red King retreats, the children are safe. So the Turtles then bring the orphan children to the Foot Clan headquarters so that Splinter can take care of them for now, because, well, Splinter has the resources. The Turtles don't have the resources to take care of like a dozen children. So, and Splinter's like, okay, my sons, gonna promise you, I will take care of them for now. And to everyone's surprise, Dexter then announces that he wants to run for mayor of New York because, hey, he's the hero of the city and he's got some good cards there in the run. So, hey, why not become mayor? And they're like, well, okay, interesting.
Especially because remember, when that Triceraton War was, coming up earlier, he's like, "What are you guys doing?" April's like, "Hey, chill, we got you. You got all this free publicity now. You're the hero." Because they don't want to have any, they don't want to know the Turtles or April are behind us. You're the hero, Baxter. So he's like, you know what? I'm in the spotlight. The people like me. I can get anything I wish. So why not run for mayor? I never saw that coming. Were you excited seeing the Mousers work on the side of good for a change?
Yeah, hey, I always love to see the Mousers. They were so
Yes.
underused in the classic cartoon,
Yes.
and
Just
but
one
they're
episode. That's all we got. One episode.
absolutely, but they're so classic enemies in all the video games.
Yes.
So I'm always happy to see more of them because who doesn't love those Mousers?
Exactly. And at least in the '03 show, they try giving them like upgrades. Like, look, we can't just have them all die in one shot. They got to at least have a little bit more of an effort. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And then coming up next, we have not a micro, a macro, which is a jam-packed episode featuring Donatello in the first of these macro series here.
Yes, macro series that were like, as you said, like the micro series, but bigger. Bigger stories focusing on one of the turtles. And the first one is the Donatello macro series, where Donatello in the story he meets up with Harold for help on his project because Donnie wants to create a machine that through technology could predict the future, what could be a possible future, so that he knows what they will be up against in the future. Like there's so much craziness going on with like the bishop and everyone. So Well, to Donnie's surprise, Metalhead reappears and he sees Donatello's project and is like, this is interesting. And he wants to help. That's the crazy part. And Donnie and Metalhead, they can actually come to an agreement and they start to work together and get the machine to work. So Donatello then sees some possible futures like an Utrom invasion, Baxter as president, and Bebop Rocksteady with a band on stage. So, okay, as I said, possible futures does not mean that they all come to be. So, but Harold then comes in and he sees Metalhead and Donatello together, and he attacks Metalhead with his tech because he thinks like, oh my god, he's coming after Donatello again, and this whole thing finally breaks up the bond between Donnie and Metalhead. And like, okay, I was really here. I was really here to work with you, but you betrayed me. This is it. We're over. We're done. And Metalhead leaves to, yeah, cause problems in the future, I guess.
Yeah, of course. We know we haven't seen the last one. We've got a lot more books. At least, like I say, we may have not known then, but we know we've still got lots more books. Final thoughts on this one. Again, the Turtles and Splinter just, they can't see eye to eye, and Splinter thinks he's right. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Christian. You can see it both ways, but who are you choosing? You only get to choose one side. Are you on the Turtles side or Splinter side?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, I think, as I said, most of the stuff that Splinter is doing, I understand. But he really turned down an evil path here. You cannot say it any other way. When he just the turtles are like, hey, with the Triceraton invasion, the Triceratons, they don't want to fight, but Splinter's like, no, they have to be stopped. We are ruling the city. We are the Foot Clan. Triceratons have to be stopped. They have to be killed. And so Splinter is really now pretty much evil. But on the other hand, it's like so interesting because Splinter is the leader of the Foot Clan. He's the leader of this criminal organization, but he's still the father of the turtles, and he still cares about them. He does not want to fight them. He wants to protect them in a little twisted way, but still. So, but to be honest, mostly I'm on the turtle side because the turtles they want to help, they want to stop evil, and Splinter is now pretty much on the other side of this whole thing. So problematic, but yeah, the turtles are still the good guys. So hey, I'm on their side, I gotta say.
Yeah, there's a small percentage of me that wants to desperately choose Splinter's side because it's like, wait a second. He knows about all this past life. He knows about karma and whatnot. Is there something he knows that's going to happen in the future and he's trying to prevent it from occurring by doing this now because he has the opportunity to do so? But I'm sorry, I'm a guy who lives in the present moment. Even if I know what's coming, I still have hope that it can change. So I'm on the Turtles side too. But there was just like a little pinch, like a couple of pepperoni slices on a pizza, if you mind, for an analogy on that, I could say with Splinter. So
I understand you, as I said, yeah.
all right. As you know, probably my favorite of the entire collection so far is coming up right here. At least my favorite in the book. I want to talk to more Michelangelo fans after you break this one down because you know I've always been partial. I've talked smack when I haven't liked it, but this I really couldn't have written this macro Michelangelo issue any better.
Oh, I'm so there with you. This is such a great spotlight on Mikey here, where it starts off with the turtles. They are hanging out at the Foot headquarters with the kids, and it's cool. And Leonardo talks with Splinter, and he finds out that Splinter has plans for the kids to become part of the Foot, to be trained as future generation of ninjas. And Mikey has a big problem with that. So late at night, Mikey sneaks out with the kids, and Jenica finds out about this and wakes up the others. But Mikey is just like sneaking off with the kids, like to protect them, but he doesn't know what should he do with them. It's like, okay, so now I'm a father of a dozen kids, so what's the plan here? Um, and he realizes that he is in way over his head. Splinter catches up with Mikey And Mikey confronts him because he doesn't want the kids to become killers for the Foot Clan. So actually, Michelangelo confronts his father, and Mikey and Splinter, they fight. And Mikey is even able to land a hit on the Ninja Master. So wild. In the end, they actually come to an agreement that Splinter and the Foot will take care of the children, but when they are old enough, they can decide for themselves if they want to be part of the Foot or not. So they can then go freely. And this is like something that Mikey can agree on. And so Turtles are now cool with the situation. But yeah, as I said, like Mikey, such a good Mikey story that he really is like standing up to his father's like, no, you've gone too far. This is over, and I will stop you. Talking to his father, just imagine that. It's like Michelangelo, the party dude, and this is so this feels so good. This feels so right. Mikey is the heart. He's the heart. Wants to protect the children, and even if he has to stop his own father, that's pure Mikey here.
Would I be wrong saying Michelangelo is the only turtle so far to actually explore and experience every emotion? It's this episode. This issue starts out with joy. He's happy, having fun with the kids. Then he gets super pissed. Raphael, I never really see him laugh or smile. Leo is usually, maybe a joke here or there, but nothing like, he doesn't. I don't really see a joking side of Leo. Donnie, heavily obsessed with technology and just focusing on plans. So, would I be wrong saying Mikey's the only turtle you get to feel all the emotions so far in this journey?
You might be onto something here, because as I said, Mikey, yeah, he's fun loving, he's loving life, he's loving to enjoy himself and just having a good time. But if he has to, he can really stand up for himself and for others. And he's also smart. Remember, he's the only one who knows Japanese. He can read Japanese, he can talk Japanese. And if he has to, he also can like protect and lead people. So yeah, he's like the Renaissance turtle, if you want to.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, and it's but still he stays Mikey. It's not like, oh, that's so un-Mikey of him. That's not like that's not my Mikey. No, that's totally wrong. He's still Mikey, and he's still got his heart and soul, and it's such a great characterization of the character.
Yep. If anyone ever asks me, what character are you? I'm pretty much Sora from Kingdom Hearts and Mikey. Those are the two guys. If you ever ask me, like, who do you see yourself as? And it's because here he is. He knows how to joke around, but when the chips are down, like me and you, Christian, if we're talking on Discord or, a messenger, hey, how's it going, dude? Yeah, I'll throw a laugh here and there on your Discord, with the Mario Day or, something like the Limp Bizkit. Yeah. But if something happened, you're like, hey, Mike, I got to talk to you. I had a bad day at work. It's like, hey, I'm here for you. And that's how I view this Michelangelo. He knows there's a time to be serious, too. He's not 1,000% just joking around, which some Michelangelos do, and I could not stand that. Or he always gets in trouble. Here, I mean, even just when he says to... If they could have it in the comics, they would have pretty much said the horrific tone, not screw you, something even darker if they wanted to. But that screw you hit home with me, and as I'm not a parent, but I am a dog dad, so when the dog defies you, it's like, what are you doing? Sometimes it catches you off guard. So for Mikey to stand up and get a couple hits in too, which just shows you how good that this IDW series has been. Because how many times have we said it before, Christian? They got me again. Everybody's reading this issue, including me. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to take down your sensei. He's killed characters. He's defeated Shredder. He easily dismantled the Triceratops head honchos, too, that we just read about in a couple issues ago. And for him to hit Splinter not once, but twice, and then still stand on his own 2 feet and say, I'm not yielding. And if you want the kids, it'll be over my dead body. And then my favorite part is he's like, you can't have it both ways, Dad. He's like, my dad would say this, but the Foot Clan goes this way. He's like, you choose. And he's like, okay, respect. So at the end of the day, like Mikey says, I know my dad loves us. So probably going to be I don't know if it'll be my favorite issue of the bunch, but it's definitely going to be a topper. And I'm glad you enjoyed it too, because it's, again, I think just reading this as a fan, it's hard for me to keep seeing Splinter disagreeing with his kids. It's almost like, family, problems here. And Mikey's like, enough's enough. And at the end of the day, they all have a big hug with Mikey. And if you go back and just, if anybody has not read these issues on Comixology, me and Christian push this all the time, guys. We're just giving you a sample of what you're able to enjoy here. And just, again, this just hits home so well. Splinter's walking away, and he sees all four of his sons celebrating. And in that moment, with that phenomenal artwork, you can see Splinter like, I should be there with them, but I can't. And that hits home right there. Did you like that spot too? You know what I'm talking about? The end, where it just has Splinter there staring. Oof.
Absolutely. Mikey, Splinter just looking at them, and they're like, Mikey, you did great. And they're like having a great time together as brothers. And Splinter is standing back there. And as you said, he should be part of that family, but he is the leader of the Foot Clan. So it's very complicated. And you feel even after everything that he did, you feel for Splinter there. Like, yeah, you should be with your sons. But he cannot. Yeah. Well, at least not now. So, yeah.
Right, exactly. So, coming up next, Mikey's still in the spotlight with a friend here. And as I wrote in your Discord, or I wrote you personally, Michelangelo even agrees with me. Pineapple's not a topping. It says it right here in the comics, guys. If you need proof, I got you covered. We're covering it right now. Feel free to break these next two down with our buddy Mondo, Gecko, and Mikey teaming up, which brings back the nice old cartoon feels for me.
Oh, absolutely. With TMNT Universe number 23 and 24, this is a two-part story, where Lindsay tells Mondo Gecko that she needs some equipment from the Earth Protection Force to keep Seymour, aka Mutagen Man, alive. So Mondo then visits Mikey and tells him that he wants to go on a mission to infiltrate EPF on his own, because old Hop told him like, hey, this is too dangerous. But it's like, hey, I cannot let my friend die. I have to help him. So Mikey comes along. Mondo goes pretty wild and gets pretty aggressive while interrogating an EPF soldier. And later, when infiltrating the EPF base, and he starts destroying the place, until the two get surrounded by Bishop and some soldiers. So after a fight, Mikey and Mondo Gecko escape into another room, where Mondo finds a hoverboard and Mikey finds a Triceraton tank. And they battle their way through the EPF soldiers and are able to escape the blaze. But they were able to get some parts that they need for Mutagen Man to stabilize his body. And so all this craziness leads to something like, okay, and Mutagen Man is like, hey, I made my peace. If I would have gone, I would have been okay with it. But Mondo's like, but I could not let you go. You're my friend and I have to take care of it. And Mutagen Man is happy for that. So great little moment there. So yeah, Mutagen Man is safe for now after this crazy wild adventure with Mikey and Mondo Gecko.
And how did you like, pretty much when they were talking to Hob, because they're like, Hob, it's interesting to see this ending here too, because at the end, Hob knows what Mutagen Man wants. He's actually pissed off that they saved him. He's like, I didn't want this. I enjoyed being in a coma. What are you doing? I was happy to go on my way out, and now I have to live my life like this. And Mondo's like, hey, come on, it's okay. And then Mutagen Man finally is like, you know what? Maybe it won't be that bad after all if we give it time. But how did you like Hobbs' stand on here? Because he was against this.
Yeah, I mean, I understand his position because it was a dangerous mission, and Mondo could have been killed in all this. And as you said, Mutagen Man Seymour was okay with it. It's like, okay, I'm at peace. You don't have to risk your life, but Mondo could not let it go. So I understand old Hobbs like, hey, it's in a way better this way than to you go out there and get killed, and then I lose two people. I lose two friends. So I understand what old Hob means in this. So yeah, after all, as I said, he's a great character. He does some horrible things, but he cares about his people. And yeah, this includes Mondo Gecko. He doesn't want to get him hurt.
Yep. Well, we've got a quick one you can knock out of the park real quickly with Pete, and then you can get right into issue 85.
Yeah, so first off, we have the backup story to TMNT Universe number 24, which is called Life at Sea, where we see Pete talking with Man Ray at the docks, and Man Ray thinks about leaving the mutanimals to live in peace under the sea to get away from all this craziness. Um, and Pete imagines this whole thing as a pirate adventure. He just imagines a wild fantasy pirate adventure with all the mutanimals. And Man Ray is like, "This is not what I meant. And don't worry, I will not leave you. I cannot leave my friends behind." So, and Pete is like, "What did we talk about right now?" And that's the end of that. Just yeah. Have I said how much I love Pete here? It's such a fantastic character.
He's a lovely, innocent little chap. He's a lovely, innocent chap.
Yeah, absolutely. So we jump straight into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 85, where the Turtles, they investigate some mysterious stuff going on at the museum. And the Turtles find out that it's none other than Leatherhead. Meanwhile, at Foot headquarters, Casey and Jenica work together to train with the little kids. And back at the museum, Leatherhead still thinks that mutants should not exist, and this leads to a conflict with the Turtles. And it also doesn't help that Leatherhead sees a hallucination of Krang all this time that mocks him. Remember, Leatherhead ate Krang, and it's just like he's still in his mind. And Leatherhead goes on a rampage, and the Turtles try to stop him. And in the end, the confused Leatherhead escapes again. And meanwhile, Bishop has other things to take care of as he gets ready for an attack on Burno Island to take care of all the aliens there.
Oof, once again, Leatherhead being a hotcase shocking the world where it's like, oh, take it easy. But he just couldn't help himself. Again, I really enjoy these books because obviously we'd get in a lot of trouble if we let our emotions get away like this, and me and you just started punching people and stuff. But I mean, it just shows it's not easy to control your emotions. These writers want you to feel through the words and the art, just like what's literally going on with these characters with their angry emotions. Whew, well, feel free to take in the next one, where we start with Leonardo just sitting calmly.
Yeah, so the next one is TMNT Universe number 25, which was the final issue of TMNT Universe. And Leonardo here tries to get more into his spiritual side after the battle with the Red King to find out more about his astral plane. And he reaches the astral plane once again, which appears to him as a colorful fantasy-like world. Once again, I cannot recommend the books enough that you should check them out just for the art. The art really great. And in this world, he runs into a spirit creature, a tanuki named Dan. But then he starts to see the dark side of the astral plane as the spirit of Kitsune appears and attacks him. So Leo is able to fight her off with a little help from Dan. And then Leonardo comes back to the real world. So from this adventure to, come back to his brothers. And cool, very colorful, very artistic adventure in the spiritual world with Leonardo, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, it's always nice. Again, it's really cool to show more of the spiritual side in this too, because that's what the Turtles, we got a glimpse of it in the first movie when we were kids, where they meditated and got to catch up with Splinter on a different plane where they got to communicate. So I do enjoy seeing that a lot more in these. But coming up next, I'll let you take it away when you hear Bishop say, "And bring me the slash weapon."
Oh boy. Yeah, with TMT number 86, once again, it gets really wild when the EPF starts their attack on Burno Island to destroy the aliens. It's Utroms and Triceratons versus Bishop and the EPF. The Turtles get info about this and contact the mutanimals for help with the situation. And as you said, Bishop still uses Slash in this battle. And we get some flashbacks as Bishop remembers the Roswell alien incident in 1947, where his father was actually the one who found the aliens, which turns out to be an Utrom. It was an Utrom back then. But back in the present time, another player comes in, and it's none other than Jarrell. The Utrom is ready to fight in a giant mech suit. So, yep, he is here.
I was really hoping not, but I was like, I'm pretty sure he's going to be involved again. They're just so patient with these, and they just do a great job. And how shocking was it again now? Because also, guys, on the side, Baxter Stockman's doing interviews now with the news about his mayor push. So who knows where that's going to lead to. Oof, feel free to pop us into the next one here, dude. Again, just these guys, they know when to get you high. It's just like a beautiful roller coaster. Even though I don't like riding the roller coasters, I do enjoy watching the thrill because it goes nice up. Like the old step-by-step TV show on TGI Fridays out here with TGIF. You go up nice and slow, and then bam, we're right back into the heavy hitters.
All right, yeah, TMNT number 87, where the Turtles, Otop, Manray, Herman, and Mondo teleport to Burno Island and get ready to finish their business with Bishop, who seems during this fight more and more like a cyborg. And we get a flashback and see when Bishop was born. And as a baby, he was born too early, and the doctor said that he would not survive. But his father, he took the infant to Area 51 to use the technology that he had there to save his son. And in the present time, the war on Burno Island is going on as Jarrell enters the battlefield, and yeah, it just gets wilder from there. The war is on.
Oh, I mean, like you were saying, it's like, were you thinking it was possible? I was starting to have flashbacks to the 2003 show where, it's like, dude, this is getting dark. Leo just chopped the head off somebody here. Were you getting vibes that Bishop might be something else?
Oh, I got the feeling really soon because, hey, this is one of the parts that I love most about Bishop, because it was the same in the 2003 show where for a long time you had no idea what is Bishop, how could he be the way he is, and it's the same thing here. As remember last time when Bishop fought with the Mutanimals and half of his face got clawed off, and you saw like the mechanical part underneath. It's like, okay, there's more behind Bishop. He's not a normal person. He's something, but I cannot say what. But yeah, we're gonna find out more about him.
Yeah, really, really soon. And we got a tearjerker once again coming too, so feel free to take it away, my dude.
Oh boy, yeah, the story hits all the feelings with TMNT number 88. So the battle on Burno Island wages on. Then Hop's backup comes in, which is Sally and Beat in the Triceraton ship, and they like, hey, we're here to fight too. Bishop is now really pissed, and he attacks the Turtles and Mutanimals himself, because so far he's mostly done everything through Slash. So old Hop then shoots off Bishop's head, but he still walks on. And then they see that Bishop's body is all robotic, and in its chest sits the real John Bishop, a little and misformed man. And we see in a flashback that John was as a child grew up mentally, but his body stayed in the form of a little child. But his father and his scientists used the alien technology to build a robotic body for him, which looks just like his father in younger years. So now we know what's up with Bishop. In the present, Bishop escapes from Burno Island, but he has a farewell gift for all the mutants and aliens there. As he says, he implanted a nuclear bomb inside of Slash, and he is about to detonate it. Slash, now no longer under Bishop's control, but when he realizes what is about to happen. So Slash bids farewell to his friends and flies out to the sea with Sally, jumps out of the jet, and explodes in a big atomic explosion far away from anyone's harm. And yeah, as you said, like last time, they cannot give us one book with no heartbreaking death moment, and here we have it. That Slash is gone, and wow, that hit really, for me, it hit really hard.
Yeah, because he wasn't like Pete, but he was just always so innocent. He never really wanted to do this certain stuff. He was controlled. Of course, they want to make you cry when you read this because Mikey gives him one last candy bar, too. That's like if you're on your deathbed and it's like, hey, I got you your favorite slice of pizza. It's like, oh, man, did you really have to bring that in here, guys? Did you have to do that? It's like, let me go in my closet now. I got to need to be alone for a few minutes. So,
Oh, yeah.
man, dude, just, yeah, they I don't know if they just draw straws, like who's going to go next, but it's just like, all right, it's like, Kenny in South Park, they gotta kill somebody to, and then they find a way to do it to make it still impactful and important in the story too. It's not just a hey, bleh, you're gone. No, we're gonna make you feel while you read these books. So that's probably going to be the biggest hit of this, and the sad part, because we talked before we went live here, guys. Christian, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to hit the road jack with here. Do your best to explain these. I think these are more enjoyable just for a fun browse with the Hit the Road Bebop and Rocksteady series, because I can't make heads or tails. I just have fun looking at the pictures because there's crazy artwork. They're good. They're bad. They piss off this lady. She gets mad. Somebody comes back. Feel free to break it down as best you can, bud.
Yeah. It's Bebop and Rocksteady Hit the Road, 5-issue craziness, just like the last time with Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything. You're just along for the ride, and you just enjoy what Bebop and Rocksteady are doing, and just go along with the craziness. And it's the same thing here, because Bebop and Rocksteady, they currently cruise around America, and suddenly one of Rocksteady's ears turns back into a human ear, and he does the totally normal thing of cutting it off, and Anchovy, the raptor that they took from the Cretaceous period, it eats it, of course. Then Bebop and Rocksteady run into Wingnut and Screwloose, 2 mutants that they accidentally released in the last adventure, if you remember. And they think they're aliens, and they build an antenna, which Bebop and Rocksteady destroy. So they have a fight, and Bebop and Rocksteady destroy them in the end, or kill them in the end. But for some weird reason, Bebop and Rocksteady become more and more human. And then we see that an agent of the EPF, Agent Ravenwood, female agent, is after the duo and wants to hunt them. So after a while, Bebop and Rocksteady become completely human again. And so they like, okay, we cannot do crazy stuff anymore. We have to look for normal jobs because we're normal people. So each try ends in a catastrophe, but in the end, they're able to get a job at the docks, where they run into Xiang Feitong, the leader of the Ghost Boys gang. And yeah, she remembers Bebop and Rocksteady, and she's still pissed at them for everything that happened, and they start a fight. But since Bebop and Rocksteady are no more mutants, they get beaten up. So then the EPF with Agent Ravenwood and her mysterious mutant abilities arrive, and they beat up the Ghost Boys, because Agent Ravenwood, she seemingly has this powers to morph her body like I don't know, how should I put it? Like, it's put together by some strings. It's really wide. It's really wide. Okay, back on track. Savanti Romero appears, of course, and he saves Bebop and Rocksteady. He turns them back into mutants, and they promise to work together again, because Savanti wants revenge on the Time Lords. Suddenly, time portals open, and some kind of spaceship comes through with Time Lords who are after Savanti. So, big spaceship chase starts, and Ravenwood and the EPF also take part in this because of the hunt for Bebop and Rocksteady. In the end, Savanti Romero gets captured by the Time Lords and imprisoned. And it turns out that Bebop and Rocksteady only became human again because of some magic that Savanti put on them, and the Time Lords turned this off so that they stay mutants now, and they could not be happier about this. Then they escape and go on their way back to New York. So, Agent Ravenwood wants to find Bebop and Rocksteady, and after a while, she's able to contact them and tells them that she actually wants to help them, because she doesn't see mutants as a threat, but just poor souls that need help. But Bebop and Rocksteady don't care at all and just make fun of her. So on their way to New York over the Washington Bridge, Ravenwood and the EPF are waiting for them. And now Ravenwood finally had enough of their shenanigans. Like, okay, if we don't help you, we're gonna defeat you. So big battle: Bebop, Rocksteady, and Anchovy versus the EPF. and the two cannot be stopped. So a special weapon gets activated. Robotic versions of Beowulf and Rocksteady. After another fight, the two robots land in the river and go down underwater. Now Ravenwood herself gets ready to fight. Ravenwood's body can split into different entities and she also has poison. So Beowulf and Rocksteady get poisoned, but are able to fight off Ravenwood and she has to flee. And at first, it seems that Beowulf and Rocksteady die because of the poison, but suddenly they are back to their old selves because you cannot kill Beowulf and Rocksteady, and nothing can stop them. So Beowulf and Rocksteady are now finally back in New York, and Karai appears and she meets them, and she wants them back in her team. And whew, that's the whole story of Beowulf and Rocksteady hit the road. Wild.
Yes, that's the one word I was just about to say. Wild, wild, wild. They just do a good job again. Just it's like, we just had a huge hit in the gut with Slash. Let's go have some fun and just throw people all over the place. It was cool seeing Wingnut and Screw Loose. Was nice seeing it where you guys screwed me again with that one girl. I thought that was funny. And if Karai wants you, you must have done something right. So who knows where that's going to lead? We'll have to find out in the next book, but we still have two more to cover here. And we brought up this name before. It's Sophie Campbell. She is going to be the writer here of this macro for Leonardo this time around.
Oh, yeah. Leonardo macro series, where Leonardo in Northampton wants to train the others in the way of the astral plane, but it doesn't really work out. The other turtles, they are not that tuned into it yet. So then Leonardo takes a walk alone in the woods, and suddenly he gets attacked by Koya. And she finally wants revenge, but after a little fight, Leonardo actually apologizes to her. It's like, hey, I'm sorry for what I did. And so she actually lets go of him and they stop the fight. But Koya tells him that Karai is back for the leadership of the Foot Clan. And, well, a little bit surprising, but Leonardo is okay with that. He thinks it would be better to give the leadership back to Karai, but not through another war. And he wants a peaceful solution through a treaty. So Karai and her team then leave to go to New York. And yeah, pretty much a lot of setup there for our next book.
Yeah, and Leonardo wants to get the family back, so we have almost a play on a good old Charles Darwin, a good old Christmas tale coming up for the end of this book here.
Yeah, it's the final. It's once again it's Christmas story with TMNT number 89. It's Christmas again, and Splinter is alone in his room in the Foot headquarters, and suddenly the ghost of Shredder appears and tells him that the power of the Foot will corrupt him, and 3 other ghosts will visit him this night. So yeah, this story seems familiar somehow. Then Akka appears and shows him a vision of his past as Hamato Yoshi with his family, but also the death of them. Then Toad Baron appears and shows him what happens in the present time, as his sons and friends are each doing their own thing. And Toad Baron tells him that they need someone to keep them together and that someone is currently missing. So Gofano then appears and shows him the future, as the turtles actually kill Splinter, who finally became evil as the leader of the Foot, and then Splinter awakes from his nightmares. Like, oh my god, it was all just a dream. So Splinter got a lesson from that, and he invites the turtles and all their friends to the Foot Clan headquarters, where Splinter, in a Santa costume, has a Christmas come together with the orphan kids, because for Christmas the family has to stick together. And so, yeah, that's a nice little Christmas story, a nice little preview before the things that's going to happen next in the book. But we're not going to spoil anything here. Don't worry.
Oh, not at all. So, question here. I'm probably wrong, but did the Turtles plan this Christmas dream? Because I'm a big Christmas guy with, Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens over here. We had a Ghostbusters cartoon way back when. And if you remember that one, it was probably one of my favorite Christmas cartoon episodes of all time. They actually capture the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, and they have to do their own tale to Ebenezer Scrooge. So we'll find out later, but do you think the Turtles were up to this? Because to me, I just found it hard to believe that Splinter actually had a dream with Shredder and all this in the same spot. So are you just rolling with it, or do you think there was something behind this dream Splinter had?
It's one of the things where you cannot be sure.
Okay.
Was it really just a dream, or was it more of a vision that Splinter had? Um, so I guess it's a mix of both. It's just some foreshadowing and some things that just Splinter thinks about a lot, and that really yeah, problematic for Splinter, like the whole situation with the turtles. So yeah, it was, you cannot be sure. You cannot be sure. Was it really the ghost of Shredder that appeared or something? I guess it was mostly a dream, but also a vision. With the mystic side of the turtles, like we had before with the astral plane. So mysticism exists in this world. So I think there's more behind it. It's not just a dream, but something that just like a vision from the mystic side that Splinter had. That's like gonna take him at least a little bit on the right path. So I guess you can see it that way. I guess.
Oh yes, so a beautifully book written here. Just they're in the zone right now. You started with, separation, Splinter and Mikey arguing. You see Splinter looking at his family. At the end of this whole grand journey of this book, they all come together. So very well pieced together. Final thoughts on this book?
Yeah, so in this book, I mean, a big part about it was the Bishop War that he took to Burno Island. That was a big part, and of course, the biggest heartbreak was the situation with Slash. So that really is the big oof moment in this book. But yeah, then I mean, we also had the Bio and Rocksteady story, which was just craziness overall, and I loved it. And then also some setup for future stuff with Karai coming back, and yeah, with these books, like, okay, I have to find out what happens next. I have to find out what's going on, what's going to happen with Splinter, what's going to happen with Karai, and so you just need more. It's like I need more of this. I need the next book. Give it to me. So yeah, it's just, once again, it's really it. For me, it definitely did not lose steam or anything. It's like it just keeps going, and it's building the world, making it bigger, and it still hits all the right notes. It's entertaining, it's fun, the action is cool, the art is cool, and the heartbreaks are there. So you get it all. You get it all with these turtle books, in my opinion. As I said before, I cannot recommend them enough.
Well, dude, the only spoiler I will have for those listening here on Spotify and YouTube is the next book, Volume 13, has a turtle on it with a little different color. I'm a little confused by it. We know where it's going to go because turtle fans already know, but for me, I'm not sure. But I do have one. I don't even know if you can answer this for fun, because we may start if this trend continues. This is going to be how we end these Shellonomics shows here. All right, so pretty much every book has somebody dying. So, and who's going to die in 13? If there's a way you can do this without cheating, I'm going to go on a limb here. You're probably going to say, dude, you are crazy, but the way these writers have been going, I'm going to say Pete dies in the next book. Do you have any predictions you can share without spoiling anything, just for fun? If you can try and go back before you were reading these, like, who's going to die next?
Boy, I mean, with the next book includes issue number 100.
That's where
so
all the game changes.
It's gonna be big.
Yep.
It's gonna be big, and there are gonna be a lot of stuff in these books that's gonna change the Turtles world forever. I'm just gonna say one thing. You're gonna be there for it, and it's gonna be heartbreaking. It's gonna be hard. Not gonna spoil it, but it's gonna be
Okay.
not. I'm saying too much.
Okay.
We're gonna find out next time. You're gonna find out, and I'm looking forward to find out what you're gonna say about it.
All right, so in other words, Christian's TMNT Talk Turtle communicator saying he's out of time. He's got to go work on somewhere else. He's got an awesome podcast of his own. I believe you double dipped again this week for us English fans with a two-parter in one episode. Feel free to let us know where we can find you, buddy.
Yeah, man, on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Talk, which is my podcast. This week I released a new episode where I talked about some of the newest comics, or the Turtle comics, TMNT number 14 and 15 of the current run, which is also very wild story. But yeah, if you're into the newest comics, if you're up to date with the newest comics, you definitely can check out TMNT The Talk on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or just on my website, tmnttalk.com, where you can find all the stuff, all the social media. You are very welcome. Every TMNT fan is welcome over here. So, hey, if you like my ramblings, check them out. Maybe there's more for you there.
Absolutely. All right, dude. Thank you for your knowledge, your hype, and just being patient with me over here because you're doing a damn good job. I know I can go see, for us out here in the States, Turtles 2 comes back out in theaters starting tomorrow. And I know you'd be a good guy sitting next to me. You would not be saying, "Ooh, watch for that! Watch for the hand! Watch Super Shredder's hand! It's gonna come up! Watch here! Watch here! Ooh, watch Mikey with that candy bar!" You're just sitting there letting me enjoy the ride. So I really appreciate that. I know it's got to be hard because you're like, "There's so much cool stuff here," but I appreciate you doing this in a very calmly manner. And as always, my dude, until next time.
Until we hear me again.